is our tallow brush salt and pepper steak there. Now, let's get on the grill. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. On today's video, we're going to be doing something very special. And what I mean by very special, I mean we're going to be cooking some steaks. So my two favorite methods are, one is the reverse sear, and also, flipping the steak every 30 seconds until we get the internal temp that we're looking for. So that's the plan for today, especially since we were sent that slow and sear kettle grill. I figured it's the perfect opportunity to kind of use all the options that we have. So even though these are my two favorite methods, I think I prefer one method over the other, I still want to be able to do both and do a side-by-side comparison because I haven't actually done that before. So to keep our test as consistent as possible, first thing is we're going to season all of our steaks with just salt and pepper like I normally do, but we're not going to season both steaks at the same time. The reason being, I don't want people to say like, oh, because I cured one steak or seasoned it like an hour ahead of time, that one is obviously going to taste better, or whatever comments might pop up on YouTube. Trying to get it up to about 115, 117 or so, and I want the grilling to kind of bring it up past that 120 to 125 so we can get a nice medium rare. If I'm missing a different method that you guys use, put it in the comments down below. Tell me what you guys like to do. Also, before this video gets started, make sure you like and subscribe. So let's get into this cook. So these are our two steaks that we're going to be cooking. I think it's going to be a nice test because they're both, pretty thick steaks. So being able to test how evenly we can cook these is really nice. And the marbling on these are just really, really nice. It's going to be a fairly good test to see what we can do with these two cooking methods. Now, normally I don't trim these off, but I do think that fat layer is a little thick, and I wasn't going to do it, but I figured if we're going to do a real test and try to get as best we can, we got to trim some off. Also, shout out to my buddy Guga, who last time we shot the video, he sent me off with this really, really nice knife, and I've been waiting to use it, so let's do it. Thanks, Guga. I feel like we now have a pretty reasonable amount of fat on the side right there, and they look a little bit more uniform. So I'm really, really happy with that decision. And again, these guys are not a sponsor. Dal Strong, not a sponsor, but hopefully someday, I don't know, Dal Strong, hit me up. Let's do something. Okay, like I said, one of these steaks we're going to do right now and season up for the reverse here, and then we're going to throw it in the grill. The other one, I'm going to let it sit inside and let it kind of warm up a little bit so it's not super ice cold. I'm definitely not going to let it sit outside here because I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's 18 degrees outside. So yeah, not going to leave it outside. All right, all sides seasoned up, and now let's throw it onto the grill. Because we got the coals here, I'm thinking about putting on the back side right there so it's furthest away from the fire. And also, I'm going to have the fat side be towards the fire. Not that we're really worrying about one side charring too much because it's not a very strong fire, but, it'd be nice to get a little more rendering on the fat as well if it is slightly hotter. Next thing what we're going to do is we're going to put our meat probe in this temperature probe down here. I'm going to stick it into the steak, and so we can read it from the inside because it is cold. Now that I have a chance to kind of sit up and warm up, this thing is super nice to just be able to not stand outside this entire time and just watch it. So I think it'd be really cool to amplify the steak flavor as much as possible. So what we'll do is we're going to take some of that fat and we're just going to render it down. We'll brush it on very lightly. We obviously don't want to have a super heavy coating on it, but just so that we can get a really nice even sear and maybe hopefully get a little extra flavor out of, basting the steak in its own fat. It's looking pretty good. Just don't want to overdo it and end up burning it. If you guys want to see a full-length video of rendering beef tallow, I'll leave that in the corner for you to check out. Even though when you're doing a small amount like this, just be really mindful about, you know, what you're cooking in terms of the type of pot or pan, or if you stick in the oven, because the pan that I'm using is really thin, so it gets really hot. If I step away from it too long, you know, it's definitely gonna burn. But for right now, that steak tallow is ready to start basting with our steaks. All right, y'all, so we did just hit that 115 marker that I was looking for. All right, the sun is poking out right now, but as you can see, we don't have any gray spots. Even though, again, we started pretty hot early on, it looks pretty dang good. All right, so right now we got to move fast. So one thing I got to do is we got to bring this steak inside. We got to season up the second one that we're going to just do the flipping every 30 seconds. And also we need to get new coals going so we can sear these steaks off fast. But as you saw earlier, we got a new tool to help us out with that. Grill Gun sent me this awesome torch. This is not a sponsored video. They just sent it to me and told me to try it out. And this thing, honestly, is awesome. Our tallow that we had earlier. Ooh, sorry about the lighting. All right, so we're gonna take this tallow, brush on the outside, and season it as a binder. Gotta move fast because it's starting to slow fry. But yeah, it's just a light brush. We don't want to put too much on, because if we do, then it's going to sort of boil and steam a little bit, and we don't want that for our steak. We want it to be light so we can just make sure it sears properly, nice and evenly. We want to just make sure that every inch of it gets a good color on it. I know it's a little hard to see, but that is our tallow brush salt and pepper steak there. Now, let's get on the grill. Okay, so the plan is going to be to flip this steak every 30 seconds, and usually it's going to take me about 7 to 8 minutes or so. So a total of about 14 to 16 flips, and I'm just going to keep a timer with me. First 30 seconds is up. No, it's not the greatest color right now, but as we continue to flip it, you'll start to see the color get darker and darker and darker. I'm not really worried about it being uneven. And also with that, you can see there's more grill grates on top than the bottom, so you can also tell which part of your fire is the hottest, so you can kind of adjust it as the cook goes. Beautiful color right there, guys. Awesome. So after the 7 minutes of flipping back and forth, we're sitting about 120. So I'm going to give another 30 seconds on that fat side so we can render out any extra fat on the side, and then we're going to pull this sucker off. So as we let the 30-second flip steak rest, we're going to start searing off this reverse sear. So that shine from there, I did add tallow to it just so that we can, again, keep this test consistent. So I'm just going to hit this hard for a minute on each side and then 30 seconds on the fat at the end. So altogether, 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So I decided to hit the fat side first because the fire wasn't super active, and because we don't want to keep this on the fire for too long, I wanted to get a little bit more flare up so we can get a better crust on the outside. All right, everyone, so we got our two steaks. This is our 30-second flip, and this is our reverse sear. They look very similar. The sear is very similar, but now it's time to see what they look like on the inside. Okay, so this is a better look at it as it's been able to sit for a little bit. It's got that rosy color back. So this is the reverse sear. It's nice and even all the way across. Fat did render pretty nicely, like you can see on this corner right here. Like it still has that like band that's on the inside right there. That could have probably hit it a little bit longer, but it is plenty rendered. And I'm really happy that we decided to take some of that fat off and render it down because it was fairly thick. So I think we would have still had some white fat left. You can see this one right here. It's a little bit grayer on the outside, especially in this top part. We might have left it a little bit longer on that side on the flip. But in terms of flavor, this one tastes a little bit, because it was on the direct heat longer, it has that darker smoke flavor to it. Well, this one right here, this is the reverse sear. It's a little bit softer. It's a little bit sweeter. I think I prefer the flavor of the grilled, but the texture of the reverse seared is super, super smooth. And I think that just has to do with allowing it to cook very, very slowly. While this one, because it's getting hit early on, I think it's sort of the way that we think about things when you cook things really, really fast, where things start to tighten up quite a bit. And this one does feel a little bit tighter, but again, the temp on this cook itself is really, really nice. And again, like I said, I prefer the flavor of this better. All right, guys, that's the end of this video. I know a lot of you guys are excellent steak cooks. And like I say in a lot of my videos, probably all of my videos if I'm comparing things, is that it's always about a preference. Like, I don't think that one thing is objectively better than another. And to be honest with you, even though I say that I prefer the grilled, flip every 30-second steak, the one that I did during Christmas, where I did for my whole family, and I reverse seared it on the smoker, that was one of the best steaks I've ever had. And that's also something my sister had told me as well. I just think it's really nice that you can have different ways of creating great products. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys are on Instagram, please make sure to follow me, whether it's my personal one on Mighty Joe Yim, or you can follow me on my Knox Ab account as well, and just send me pictures of what you guys are cooking. I would love to see what you guys are up to. So please make sure you follow me on Instagram, and if you guys like this video, make sure you like, subscribe, share this video with your friends, and I'll see you guys in the next one.